So we're not gonna mess around. We're gonna get started very quickly because we've only got an hour here and we've got quite a lot to get through. So really quickly, I'm Ollie. I'm the community manager at Stacker, and today I'm afraid I'm the proud owner of a very squeaky chair. So I'm going to try and sit as still as possible, but I apologize if you hear squeaks throughout this. It's me getting overexcited at what Sezay is building. We're doing this to help people understand how you can get started with Stacker. So today, Sezay is going to take us through, first of all, he's going to take us through his process for building these things in a short presentation, but then going to show us the actual build. So how you can get started from scratch building your own property rental app. We've got a lot to get through. Not promising that it will be a fully polished, complete app by the end of the hour, but it will be looking pretty good. I've had a little demo of it already, so I think it's going to be good. Just in terms of housekeeping, I would love if everyone could just introduce themselves in the chat really quickly. I'm going to copy and paste something I had prepared. If you want to just say who you are, where you work, maybe actually where you're from in the world. I'm in Edinburgh in Scotland, but it's always interesting to know where people are joining from. But if you have a LinkedIn, Twitter, website, a product that you're working on, or feel free to share that as well. Thanks, Ahmed. And just in terms of the format of this, so this will largely just be us watching Sezay build something, but we want, if you have questions, if you have comments, please do put them in the chat and we'll take them into account while we're building. We'd love to see, your feedback, and if there's something you're not sure if Stacker can or can't do, or Airtable can or can't do as well, because we'll be using that. Just let us know and we'll answer them as we go. So yeah, questions as we go would be ideal. And yeah, I think that's it in terms of my introduction. I might at this point, Sezay, if it's okay, hand over to you to talk a bit about what you're going to be doing today.
Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Sezay from London. I recently joined Stacker's expert team, so I will be helping people who would like to build apps using Stacker and sometimes Airtable, which are my personal preferences. Today, we will be going through from scratch to creating an Airbnb-like app. As Oliver already said, it's not going to be a very advanced one, but it will be a very good one that can be done in a half an hour, or let's say 40 minutes. So we will try our best. But my main point will be how is the process that I'm following, and I'm hoping this will be helpful for you to do the same. And we also have created a presentation with all these helps, and it was just created to just presentation version of this call. So you guys will have a link for that after this call probably, and I'm hoping this will be enough to understand the main point that we are trying to do it here.
Absolutely. And one more thing I should add is that we are recording this. So, we'll send the recording out afterwards. If you need to go away and get coffee, or, need to drop out for whatever reason, you will get a recording afterwards. So,
yeah. I was planning to start with and spend a couple of minutes on the presentation screens just to give a rough idea what kind of questions you can find answers in. So can you see my screen if I share it now?
I can indeed. I see an Airtable, a very nice kind of
it's Airtable now.
Pink Airtable.
Yeah.
So, and now I see Figma.
Perfect. Okay, let me move this a little bit right and start from scratch. So this is all about creating a database in Airtable from scratch. And this is the main objects that we will be looking at, and why we need apps, and finding your application idea, wireframing your app, and user types and roles. And
could you zoom in ever so slightly more?
Yeah.
I think it'll make it a little bit easier to see. Perfect. Thank you.
There will be still some polishing things just for the numbers, and so I can spend a little bit time on that, but let me still show you. The content is okay, just these numbers could be fixed after this call. But this is the main things that we will be looking at least I have created in the presentation. Because it is important to know the field types that you will be using to create your database. So this was I believe this is the most important part of it. Oli, do you have anything to add, or should I just start very quickly on the screens?
I would say just start. Just to say, I'm a terrible no-code builder in that I just rush in to build things. You know, I don't stop and think about things like databases and things like that. And I love, you know, how you think about these things. I need to learn to do this better. So looking forward to this.
So, I mean, it's actually because of my previous experiences, because I was trying to build something very complicated and there was lots of different data. And when I started without a plan, I ended up like something very complex, and it was even impossible to create the visuals based on this thing. So I found out if I create a database first very carefully, the visualizing it is much easier. So you guys can spend some time on the screens, and I believe this will be helpful because this is my checklist before I start creating any application. I'm just making sure it is just I can able to say it solves a problem, it's easy to use, and reduce the risk of the failure and reduce the costs of running your business or running anything you would like to do it better. And it should be obviously increase your productivity as well, because this is why we are doing that. Let me go to the screens that would be a good idea before we start building it. So
this is another mistake that I always make. I never make sure something is a good idea before I start building. I just start building. So
yeah, I did that lots of application before, but now I'm trying to be as much as planned I can. So there was a screen that I'm looking for at the moment. For example, this one. So when you started building your application, the first things you need to find actually who will be using this. So this is user type 1, user type 2, but I always skip at the first steps, but there is another user, which is your application. So your application also needs some kind of pre-designed data, just creating some comfortable experience for your users. This can be the country names, this can be features of your home. So you need to create this database before you start using it. So your users will be able to choose from the list, but this will be still need to be created before. And after that, I'm just grouping them. So this kind of data, for example, will be my application library. And this is the data that user 1 will be using. And after that, one more tier to create more detailed one. So this is basically the tables that we will be using in this video. Let's see something. Yeah, and here's the links between the tables, because if you just can create different tables, but if you don't link them with each other, it won't make any sense, because you need to be able to create some records from a single table. So to do this, you have to just link them each other. And this is the general picture how the links are working. For example, this is homes table, and the orange means it is core home table data, but user also using this data, at least a copy of it, to show in his records. And we will take a look on this as well. Also, as you can see, this is the app library for the places of the places, features, and types of homes, and country codes. So this will be still linked to the other tables. This is basically the general picture and how I see it.
I think this is a good discipline to have, to map out how your data talks to each other before you start. And we'll see how this looks in Airtable in a moment.
Exactly, yeah.
It's definitely something you can do with, you know, even like a whiteboard, you know, just kind of draw out how everything will be talking to each other, which, you know, which users will be using which data types and things like that. But
yeah,
we'll see this in action soon.
Oli, is that okay if I spend 3 or 5 minutes more here and then we can start building?
Yeah, if you're happy to, just if you think it will be useful for a bit more of an overview.
Exactly, because there are some things that it was very difficult for me to understand, because which Airtable calls it as a views. And this is very important to know, because we actually have 3 different tables, but they may look in different names based on which user type is seeing them. This is something very important to know, because you may think there is actually more than 3 core tables, but actually there is 3, but there is views of these tables. So they are just duplicating from here, but this is the guest see it as a place to stay, but host see it as a my listings. But this too is actually just duplication of this core table here. So I just wanted to mention about that. And this is just a visual for the workflow, but there is no any value inside as a function side. But here is an important screen for me. So this is the field type, which is a little bit darker color, and this is the field. So this keeps the information in, but this one decides which information type you can add into this one here. And so into this screen.
So that could be text or numbers or a location, exactly. Or quite a long, exactly.
Yeah, but basically every user has records. So if you combine 2 different fields, it will become a record. And if you combine 2 different records, it will be a table. And if you combine the tables, it will basically your database. And this is all we are going to do now. So if you know this logic here, this is very simple. It will be very helpful, because as I said, I'm just trying to visualize what was so difficult for me. And probably everyone knows about this, but just wanted to give another sketch for that. So this is how our users will be moving into the tables. They won't be able to move between records unless they have multiple records. But in this case, they will be able to move in horizontal way, but not in the vertical way, because every user will have their own record. And yeah, this is basically another image of that we are going to create in soon. So when I see this table, I see that Laura has 2 different homes, which is a multiple record, but this is a symbol of linking to the another record. So Laura has 2 home, Adam has 1, Sarah hasn't added yet. So when you create 2 different items here, this will automatically create 2 different records into homes table. And the owner will be Laura, and we can use lookup field to bring Laura's email address into this field, into this table. So these tables will be linked from the point of Stacker's view. So which is very important part. And I'm just going to show now, then we are going to start building it.
So this allows different types of data to talk to each other. So people who are going to rent a property can, connect themselves to properties that they have rented or are looking at renting, that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. For example, here, I visualized this to just make it much easier for us to understand. So that's me, for example, and that's my email, and I will be using this email as my access key. So to leave this record, I will need that, and to jump into another record, I will still need that, and the records will be asking if you still have this key. If you have, they will allow you to see them. If not, they will just block themselves and you won't be able to see anything. So you can basically see here. So users table, homes table, and this is the user's email address. It's coming through to the homes because he created the home. If you just follow, he has a home here, so he is able to see this record, but he is not able to see the green ones, neither orange ones. Actually, this was the core screens that I would like to talk about. If you don't have any questions, I can start building the Airtable.
I think it would be good to get into the actual build. No questions yet.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
and just well, yeah. Do
Um,
you want to quickly explain, so how Airtable data and Stacker work together?
Of course. So basically, we are going to use Airtable as our database, and we will create everything we need to create before we jump into the Stacker. And then we will have our API key from the Airtable, and then we will have our share. We will share this base with publicly, and it will give us this link. Okay, just a second. Sometimes that happens. Nothing to worry about. Once we have this link, this is all we need: the Airtable API key and this shareable link. And once we have this, we will give this data to the Stacker, and Stacker will create a synchronization between Airtable base and the user interface of the Stacker. So we will be creating our user interface based on this data. But our first step, all we need to do in the first phase is Airtable. Once we think that's fine, then we can move to the Stacker. I think it's a good idea to start it now because we have very limited time, right?
Definitely.
So, okay, I will say this is my users table, and let me just get very quickly the data from the previous one, so we are not going to use too much time. So I'm just copying this 3 email here. Let's make it 4. So the field type is name, email, profile picture, which is attachment, and then single select. And I will be pasting this into the new table, just for us to make it a little bit faster. In normally, you have to just create it from scratch.
So this is all just dummy data, just something for us to play around with. I might actually share in the chat a great tool that I use for generating dummy data. It saved me a lot of time, so one moment.
Yeah, I need that as well. I'm just spending too much time on it, like something very useful. So what we have here, let me see. We have profile pictures, we have emails, which will be used as key. So I'm going to use the tips here, so it will be very useful for everyone, I believe. Because when you have like over 200 different fields, it's a good idea to have some key emoji on. Let me just do it here. I'm using this for the email field, just for the field name, because when I started creating lookups, I just need to see if that has the key, which is very important in the next steps for me, at least. I mean, I'm feeling confused after a point.
I like that. I'm going to steal that.
Okay, then we have user types, which in our case, they can be hosts, which has homes. They can be guests, which they don't have any homes, but they can see the homes to make bookings. So this is the user tables, and let's create homes.
So within Stacker, that will be a list of people who can access the app, right? That's the idea.
Exactly, yeah. We will say Stacker that this is the table that we keep our users inside.
Sorry, that may have been a bit of a spoiler there.
Just let me pass that very quickly.
Again, are you able to zoom in ever so slightly?
Yeah,
on
I
the
can.
Airtable, just it's legible, but I'm just kind of looking at it like this. So
is it better now?
That's better, much better. Thank you.
Perfect. So let me move this a little bit down. So let me see what we have here. So we have the property type. We only have 2 at the moment, but you can add more. So it can be house, it can be apartment. So the options are just a matter of time. And we have the price per night that the hosts are asking for. and then bedroom, number of bedrooms, sizes, address, photos, and the cover photo, which is, I'm going to share something about this, because why we needed a cover photo as we already have a multiple images field. So because we will need that in Stacker to use in specific cover images. If it's multiple image, it won't be showing anything because Stacker just don't know. Normally, you just don't know which image to show. And you just have to say, okay, here is the cover image field. So you will be able to change it when you need it. And you will be able to choose it, by the way. So I have some images missing here.
How did you get a picture of my house? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry.
Yeah. Same. I was trying to create my dream home. So Canary Wharf Farm, for example. So this is multiple image field. I can add them all. But for the cover image, I'm able to make a choice. I think that looks good.
I would definitely want to stay there.
Exactly. So we always have all fields we need for homes. So we have users, we have homes, then we will need bookings. Let me see what we can take from there.
So these would be like a list of all of the bookings that people have made in any of the properties.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. They will be using this table to see their bookings. Also, homeowners will see their reservations. So check-in data, check-out data, status, and payment status as well. So let me copy that.
And so the idea would be, this is just dummy data to get us started, but once we move into Stacker to display all of this information in a beautiful way, people will be able to add their own new bookings directly in the Stacker app, as you would with Airbnb or booking.com, I don't know, you name it.
Okay. So this will be check-in date. And let's use just a single name line for that and not make things any more difficult. So in this case, there's approved and in review selections options, because, for example, a guest sent a submission or sent a request to stay in a home. The homeowner will be able to see it and will be able to choose from review to approved. So they will get notified if you can create automations. It will be working like this. And the payment status, if it's paid already, it will be paid or not. So that also we can use this field to create different views in here or in Stacker, because there's a conditional view options. Then you can say, just show me the records that the payment status is yes, and you will be able to see the paid bookings or not paid yet. So we have users table, we have homes, we have bookings, and I think we need to create places, features. And it will be a very easy one. Only if you can help me about this, it will be really very helpful, because
So like ideas for features.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, maybe I can lean on the chat. So if you have, what are your favorite features to get in an Airbnb? I'm going to go with hot tub for sure.
I'm just giving a couple of now so we can use from the chat.
Yeah, we've got a few to get us started, but if you have any features for bookings that you would like to have added, then please do just put them in the chat. You're much more pragmatic than me, you know, breakfast and an iron. I'm like, I want a hot tub and a disco ball. And yeah.
Let's say disco ball, yeah.
Okay.
It's a funny one. Let's see if we have the countries. I'm not sure do we have enough time to use this table, but just gonna create. But this is also another good idea to create your own country list, because you can limit the country selection. So you can say only the users will be able to choose only United States or United Kingdom or France or Germany, and that's it. So you don't want to anyone list any home in somewhere that you don't want to. And once we created our tables, then we can start creating link to record fields to link these tables with each other. So let's think. Users should have a link to the homes, and they will be able to create multiple homes. That's fine. So we have a now link between users and homes. And users also should be able to making bookings. So we will need another link from homes to booking. But they don't need any different links. Let me see. So they don't need to have any link for the places feature, because this will be coming from the homes, but they will need a link to the countries just to making their onboarding process.
So this is where mapping out your data in advance can be really useful to help you understand what should be talking to what, what users should have, which data associated with them, features should be linked to which, other databases, that kind of thing.
By the way, for someone who hasn't done anything in the Airtable yet, just want to show you something. So we created a table which is homes in the users, but once we check the homes table, we see that the users field already has been added here. It's automatically created because they have a link between each other. So we have bookings and we have places features. Okay, this will be coming from the homes. Let's use places features. And let's add a feature just for us to see. So this has breakfast and this has iron. This is seaside and disco ball.
Oxford Street, seaside. That makes sense.
Exactly. So this will be probably enough. If you have anything to add, we can add. So we will link this with users. So let's say, by the way, something important. So now we have a link from users, from homes to users, but I need to do something here. And I'm just going to create views for hosts and another one for guests. I'm doing that because I'm going to say, when I click here, don't show me the guests, just show me the hosts. And to do this, I need to create views. Just let me do that very quickly. User type is host. So this will be hosts only, and this will be the opposite.
So why are you doing two different views at this point?
Because, for example, I need to see only limit records to the selection view. So I will be only able to see the hosts, but there will be a point in the advanced steps. So I need to see only the guest type of users. But in this case, I just need to see host. So I'm just choosing Katie and Harold. So let's say Katie has one more. So they linked with their homes. Sorry, the homes has linked with owners. And there's bookings. This booking also should has another link from homes, because, for example, if you are creating a booking, you need to choose which home is related to and which user will stay. And so we need to create one more link here for the homes. And from homes, I should see that as well, yeah, bookings.
So all of these different databases are now talking to each other in some kind of way. There's kind of links between them, so you can understand which users are own which homes, or which bookings they have, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is exactly the same thing that I showed on the presentation. So Oli, if you have any suggestions, I can do them, but it seems like we are ready to move into Stacker.
Yeah, you've got to do one thing, please. I beg of you. You've got to rename the base in Airtable. Like, I have so many bases called untitled base.
Exactly.
It's like untitled base number 524 in my Airtable. Home sweet home. I like it.
Yeah, I even created the logo type for that. Just to show how you can brand your application in Stacker.
But yeah, this database looks great to me. I said it in the chat, but I realized people might be watching on the video and won't see the chat afterwards. But so this is one way you can get started with Stacker. You can use Airtable, but you can also use Google Sheets for this kind of database structuring, if you're more familiar with that. Stacker also has built-in database functionality like this. And there's a few other data sources you can use as well. So Airtable is a favorite for sure, but it's worth checking out what else you can do.
Yeah, even you can link Stripe, as you said, Google Sheet, Airtable, lots of different data holders. And that's the great point, because you can combine too many different tables in one user interface, so which makes very easy to move between them and make changes. So probably I'm happy with that. I'm going to only do something very quick here, which is a formula. I'm just going to show it because I like it personally. I'm not going to dive in too much for the formulas, but I'm just going to do something very quickly.
So formulas let you take different bits of data from within the Airtable and kind of combine them in different ways. So you can combine bits of text together. You can do, use it like a calculator to sum or kind of divide or things like that. Lots and lots of different things you can do with it. So you've made a nice little personal message. Very nice.
Personal message, because I would like to use this in Stacker as the first thing my users see. So let me go to the Stacker.
So this is a brand new account that you made just for this, right? This is your...
Yes, exactly. And I'm going to create from scratch.
I think we're making good time, but just so you know, we've probably got about kind of 15 minutes left for the builds, just so we have time for if there is any Q&A that come in.
Okay. So how long it has been already?
It's been about 20 minutes of build time.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think you're bang on track. It's good. Yeah.
Perfect.
Good progress.
A couple of quick tricks here, which can be helpful. At this point, you need to choose an icon for your application. So obviously we will choose a home, and let's choose something, this one. It is not private. It will be all users in my workspace, which is my workspace here. I can create multiple applications. So I'm going to give access for them.
So that one you can see in the background right now is one you made earlier, but we're going to go back to the start just now and see a brand new app. So this is the screen you would be presented with when you first start with Stacker.
So when you came into the Stacker, there is no any data that we have presented inside yet, but that's why it's asking me at your first table. So it can be a Stacker table that you can create here, but as I said, this Airtable is my personal choice. That's why I will be using it. So no, I'm not going to use spreadsheet. I'm just going to connect Airtable. And you should go to the settings, and from there you can choose Airtable, and it will ask me the API key. And so this API key is coming from your Airtable account section. You can find it.
Don't worry, I'll blur that out in the for the
Okay.
YouTube version.
So for this link, which is asking at the moment, you already have a screenshot here that's showing where you can find it, just for us to see now. You go to the share button and share publicly, and once you turn this on, this link will be revealed. So I'm just copy that, coming back inside, clicking back, and trying to connect. So now I'm importing my database into the Stacker. It will take a couple of minutes. It usually takes less than a minute.
Mm-hmm. This does seem a little bit slow just now, but yeah, it's just so people understand with Airtable, you know, that API key that you get, that's the link between your Airtable and your Stacker, and it's something you should keep private because anyone with that could get access to your Airtable, which is why I was joking about blurring it out for the video, because this isn't important because this is a sort of dummy app, you know, that isn't, it doesn't matter if people kind of get access to it somehow, but for your actual projects, never share that API key.
Yeah, and by the way, it took much longer than I expected because of the Zoom call probably, but now it's done. So we have all the tables added into the Stacker. So let's check if we have everything inside. So we have users table, we have homes, bookings, which is great because it created icons for that, just smart icons, because reading the keywords and just putting the icons there.
I'm always so impressed by that.
Yeah, it's great. So we have users, we have homes. It will be looking like this, but it doesn't have to stay like that. We are going to shape this view. I'm just checking if we have all the data we need. Yes, we have them. We have countries. You can, by the way, you can edit this navigation bar. If you want to see just users, homes, and bookings, you have a chance to hide this too, or you can change their name, or you can add sub-menus, lots of things that you can do. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the view of this page because this will be a user profile page. So for example, if you are a user, you shouldn't see other users. Instead, you should see your profile page to make some changes. So I'm just going to do this. From the side menu, you just go to the edit layout and display. It will be one record only. So what it is at the moment, it's a table. It could be cards. It could be Kanban, which is you may need to use different view of the table, but this is what we are going to be using for this page at least. It will be one record only. Once you click that, now you have chosen the view of the page, but to edit it, you need to go inside, so which will be edit layout. So now we are going into this page to make some changes, and I'm going to remove that. So you don't need to worry about, just you can remove it. And now we can choose the profile from the top because there's a template for the UI. So the profile will be our choice. So, and everything you edit now will be looking like this. So it will be like, let's say, Facebook page, your profile page. And you can choose which kind of a data you would like to see with this card. But to do this, you just need to click on it and you will be able to choose. Let's see what we would like to see. We don't have to see email, because if they change it somehow, it will bring some issues because they are using this email as a key to access their data. So I would keep it hide. Maybe show their country. Yeah. And now we came to the most fun part, to showing the personal message. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah. This is Rebecca's page, so I'm just showing a personal message.
So this is
And
the
I
first
can-
page Rebecca would see when she logs in every time. Mhm.
By the way, there are lots of details that we can talk about, but just for a quick one, I will probably hide this title, so you can do that as well. You can just choose hide label, so it looks much better, because for this field, you don't need to see a personal message here. So we have a personal message that welcoming us. Then I can bring a field and I can show my name, the username, and her profile picture. No need to user type, because this will be chosen on onboarding stage. So they won't be able to switch between their user roles. We don't want it, because this is what we are creating. We are creating a structure and they will be moving in this structure. So they shouldn't be able to choose it. We can add this one here, but I'm going to show something else for that. So these are the layouts, which I call them as modules. And I'm using this one so oftenly. I'm just going to drop one here, because this is a module that basically works. If Rebecca has another table, you can bring the other records that in another table into this profile page, which I'm going to do it now. And I would like to show the homes from users to homes. So this basically a module is listing the records from homes, from users to homes. And I can change its title, let's say my homes. But let me remember if Rebecca is host or Rebecca is guest. So they shouldn't see as my homes. They should see places to visit. And in that case, I would like to show all records, because it's just a shortcut from user profile to the homes that is available at the moment. So they will be just see the places to visit from their homepage. If you want to, you can remove it, but if they click on it, they will be directed to this homepage, home's profile page, which we will come back in a second. So we have added places to visit, and she will be able to change her name, edit picture, choose a country if she hasn't chosen yet. Olive, please tell me if I'm giving too much details, because
No, I think it's good. Probably only got about 5 to 10 minutes of build time left, so maybe it would be good to see how the other pages might look as well.
Okay. In that case, this is almost done. There are lots of things to do, but let's say this is fine for now. And let's go to the homes. And I would like to change the homes view, which will be, I think the card will work perfectly. Yeah, so the card, how this works, just let's talk about it in a second. It using attachment fields to show a cover image here, and then name and other details, but you can change this view as well. So let's see if I need to change. So this is the list view, but if you click on the home, any of them, you will see a detail page, which we will like to choose a different view here. I will use profile again.
So by default, it just shows all the information that is contained within Airtable. So this is the point where you can kind of customize the look and feel of things.
I really like to keep most important data into this profile card. It just makes it easier to understand what's happening about this record. But there is something that we need to mention. This was just a record in Airtable. It was something like that. But now it looks like an actual page, which is, I think, the most important benefit of the Stacker. Just making it much easier to engage with data and see what's happening in the records.
Have you seen, have you played around with a listings view as opposed to a profile view?
Yeah, I did that in different use cases. This also works nice. And we can we can change it from here, by the way. Let's use a list for now.
Just thought I'd show that off for the people in the audience.
Yeah, exactly. So let's put some data inside. Name, property type, price per night, bedroom, number of bedroom, size, address. By the way, we can add sections. They don't have to be all informations in one table here. We can create different sections once we edit them. So I'm just going to do that as well. And I'm not going to add bookings because I will be using related records module for that. But I will be adding some sections now. So once I added section, this is what happens now. So let's put that roughly, and now I can use it to separate photos. And another, my favorite thing to do, I can show it as an image, and I can use the full width, sorry, and then the other images will be listed under it. Sorry, I did the reverse. This will be one image, and photos will be.
And the idea is that, you know, anyone, the host, will be able to log in and update this information as well. You know, so they'll be able to click the edit button, and if they want to change the photos or change the monthly price or things like that, they can log in. It's not just you, the creator of the app, it's the users able to come in and interact with this data.
Yeah, so because we want our hosts to make some changes on their homes without needing our help. They just need to log in. They need to be able to create homes. They need to be able to make changes on it. And so this is what we are going to be creating if we would have a couple of more hours. But now we are just building UI. Let me see if we skipped anything here. Then bookings. So we don't have any bookings yet, but we may have it.
There's a great question in the chat about how you control users' access, which is definitely something that would be good to touch on, sort of permissions and things like that.
Yeah.
Would you be up for going through that quickly?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to hide this two here very quickly, from the navigation bar. I just don't want to see the places, features, and countries because they are not main pages. They are just user data. So now we can go to the user permissions, but we need to tell. So we need to now let Stacker know where is the users in our tables. Oli, I think this interface has a little bit updated from the previous version. Could you please?
Is it?
No, I can find it.
So you need. I think is it that you need to link your Airtable base to be your user list? So
there was another section here which was customer access, and now I can see that.
That's a different version. If you go to the user panel, which is the third icon in the bar and in the main, sorry, in the main edit thing, yeah. And then go to user settings at the top right. And then, oh no, it's not here.
Okay,
sorry,
I did that yesterday.
Oh, sorry, it's a user table. It's at the bottom. Here, if you go back to that page. Go to, sorry, the user icon in the middle. And then at the bottom, you see choose user table, table. So by default, Stacker has your users as a database within Stacker. But what this allows you to do is choose a database within Airtable to be your list of users who should have access. And then you can use that to control access.
I didn't have any trouble yesterday because when I creating it, it just, the first thing it asked me was, where is the users? But if you want to find it manually, this new version has a different place to keep it.
Well, so if you're more comfortable, because we've only got 10 minutes left, you could just go over to your complete app and kind of talk through permissions there if you think it's easier.
I think we are already there because it's a good to talk about this because it might be a little challenging to find it, but they know already how to find it now. So what we are doing here, we choose which table to use. So it's a users table, and from the users table, the email will be the key, as we talked before. So I have the users and their email addresses, and we will be using this email address to create permissions. Now I'm just linking to users. Now we have them. So now I need to create the permissions. There are two different ways to do that. You can go to the tables, and from there you can reach to the permissions, or you should be able to see from the settings. Another way to reach to the permissions. But if you have to reach a specific table's permissions, you can go from the manage fields section. So let's do the user's permissions, because at the moment, if we, let me show you something, and we can see the difference. So now we are logged in as Adam Williams, but we are seeing Rebecca's page, which shouldn't be like this, because this is why we are going to use permissions to limit their access. And once we fix this, we should see the preview users page. So we don't want all users see all records. We want them see some records, and our rule will be their record should consist their user profile, which is now I'm linking two different tables, email addresses with each other from Airtable and Stacker. So this will create a rule in the application. And this is where you choose if they can see name. So if they can read it, if they can update it or create it. And I recently got a message from another user, and he asked me, how can I make users able to delete some records? So you should choose this one, just for you to know. If you can click on it, it will enable for them to delete different records. And for the bookings, so let's go to the homes first, less complicated. So we would like to limit homes record by their user. So if user has homes, they will be able to see that home. But this probably, I'm promising you, this will be the most page that you will be spending some time if you're just starting, because most important one, to make it private, some records for the users.
There's a question that's coming in the chat that I might answer quickly. So about how permissions is different from conditional visibility. Basically, permissions is a more secure way of doing it. And in fact, for any important data that you have that you 100% do not want anyone else to see, you should always use permissions. They're a little bit more fiddly to set up than conditional visibility, but yeah, it's more about the kind of security layer to use them. I'll share a link to an article about it quickly.
Okay, by the way, our permission hasn't been working as I expected. Maybe we should just try again.
It's a live demo, don't worry. It's got to have something go wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But
okay, I know. I have that yesterday, because you should see all records. Once you created a permission, you should delete the previous access permissions, which is allowed for everyone. So if that doesn't still work, we can jump into the previous days. But now it's working, because if you have two different permissions there, it will be the combination of these two, not choosing any of them, just combining two different permissions, which one was see all, and the second one was if their email address is matching. But if there's two different permissions, that basically means see all. That's why we didn't see related pages before.
I'm afraid we probably should start wrapping up soon. So, you know, it's incredible what you've built in such a short space of time. But I guess, are there any other things that you want to cover off? You could even show, you know, the completed app that you built before.
Yeah, we can have a look on this one, which is almost the same. But what we are going to see, some bookings related to users. So Adam has 2 different bookings, and he is able to see different homes from the home page. And once they visit that page, they will be able to see the previous bookings. We can limit that, but it depends on your preferences, because you can see there's a booking on the way, so you will see that this date is not available. If you want to create a booking here, you just need to choose your name from the list and choosing. By the way, let me show you something here. It looks like a very nice UI here, but this is actually just a field from Airtable, which is a date field. So what we are seeing there is this. So this record looks like this when you add it into the stacker. And this is the checkout date. And another important thing, which I found it very useful, if you are making this booking from the page of home, a specific home, this will be automatically added. So you don't need to change it, or you don't need to choose it. Even you can just hide it to stop some confusions, because, so let's create this one and go another home and try something else. So let's go to the South Kensington one. And if I click on the add new, this will be automatically added, because I'm making this from this specific homes page. So it's just bringing this data into the form, so you don't need to find from the list, which is important in the advanced use cases.
So what you've created here is, we haven't actually shown the login process, but basically each of these apps will have a screen where users can log in, and then depending on the type of user, they'll have a different experience. If they're a host, they can look at their properties and see all of their upcoming bookings. If they're a person visiting, they can see, you know, their bookings and the places they're staying, and each user can get different information about each of these objects. And then this data just gets sent straight away into Airtable. So you have that data stored away in Airtable as well, but then displayed beautifully in Stacker. And yeah, so I'm aware we've only got 1 minute left. So
oh, 1 minute, okay.
Yeah, if there's anything else you want to just talk about, maybe, to be honest, I think at this point we're not going to have enough time to show off any more features, but maybe, you know, what you would do next, or you know, if people want to follow up with you, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they can find me under Stacker's Experts, so I will be there, I hope, for a more while. And yeah, they can download this presentation. I will share the link with you, and today it will be ready. After this call, I'm just going to make some changes and we'll give you the link so they can have a look if they want. And they can, anytime they can ask questions from the Stacker Experts panel. So I will be happy to help. Yeah, that's it basically. From me, there are lots of things I would like to talk about when it comes to no code, but I think the time will be very limited now.
Indeed, if an hour has flown past. There's a very quick question. Yeah, just about the difference between Stacker and Airtable interfaces. So Airtable interface is a relatively new offering from Airtable, and it's quite limited so far. I've played around with it to create a couple of small things, but over time, I think, you know, you'll see kind of different features coming out with different things. So yeah, do check that out as well. But yeah, I'd just like to say thank you so much again. I'll send out your email to all of the attendees afterwards. So if you do want to get, you know, your app up to speed very quickly, people can talk to you about it. Thanks for coming along, everyone. Thanks for the questions.
Yeah, thank you for everyone.
this was super fun. We will do it again. In fact, we're going to do it again next week. So I'll send out information about that. Don't worry, Sezay, not you, with a different,
Yeah.
different expert, but I'll send out information about the Stackathon that we're doing next week after this event. Cool.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks again, Sezay.
Thank you, guys. See you.
Bye for now.
Bye.